Harish, good morning, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Manoj, please provide a soft copy of revision notes with the minimum charge. Yes, Manoj, it's already provided as a soft copy option with a minimal charge only. So you can go to BCCA app and you can uh, get access of that. Deshna Jain, good morning. Yashwan, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Yashwan. Good morning, Jain. Good morning, sir. So just let me know if everything is clear. Is my video, audio, is anything buffering? If everything is clear, then we'll start the session. I guess everything is clear. I want an active participation in the chat box. Please actively participate so that we'll have an interactive session rather than only me talking. Please give reply in the chat box. Is everything clear? Shall we start the class? Priya, all clear, ma'am. Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am, clear. Thank you so much, sir. So yes, today is our second session, which is our class 2 for Super 50 revision, boosted revision. And yes, in previous class, we have completed with the basics of cost audit, in which we have seen about what are the concepts which are there in basics of cost audit, and also we have seen the three important or most repeated questions from basics of cost audit. And then we have moved to the second unit of section A cost audit, which is companies cost records and audit rules 2014. And we have seen 4 questions from that, which is mostly from rules. We have seen the questions from rule 2. We have seen about the definitions. So what we have seen from unit 2 in the yesterday's class, we have seen that cost records and audit rules 2014 will have 6 rules, which is rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4, rule 5 and rule 6. 1 talks about title and commencement. 2 talks about definitions, in which in yesterday's class I have given you the enough clarity that what all definitions will be asked as a question in the examination and what are the important definitions. Then we have moved to rule 3, applicability of cost records. We have seen the turnover limit for domestic as well as foreign companies, which are important to be complied with. And we have seen the exemptions also. So we have exemptions, 2 exemptions. A foreign company having only a liaison office in India, or a MSME, which is under MSMED Act, micro or small enterprise. So those are the exemptions for rule 3, applicability of cost records. Then we have seen rule 4, applicability of cost audit, in which we have seen a different turnover limits for regulated sector and a different turnover limits for non-regulated sector. And also we have seen the 3 exemptions which are there for rule 4. And then we have seen the rule 5, which is about maintenance of cost records. How it should be maintained in form CRA 1, the maintenance of cost records should be there, and that too from 1st of April of 2015 or 2014, that we have seen. And then in rule 6, we have seen about cost audit, in which we have seen about 1 point that the cost auditor should be appointed within 180 days from the commencement of financial year. And when the cost auditor is being appointed, the engagement letter should be provided by the company, and the cost auditor should give his consent letter with a certificate. And what are the contents of certificate? We have seen as it is a question which is tested in the previous examination. So these are the rule related questions which we have seen in the previous class. I hope everything is clear whatever we have seen in the previous class. Now we are going to move to the next question, which is question number 15. Which is question number 15. Now what is given in question number 15? We'll see. Just a moment. Now this is question number 15. Now what is question number 15? This is from concept number 8, which has been tested in these many attempts. See, December 28, June 2024 and June 2017. So this is a question which is frequently being asked. So you can take it that like that. Now what is this question about? What is the basis adopted to determine normal price with respect to related party transactions? Now where did this question come from for us? This is from CRA1. So in unit 2, we have 6 rules and 4 forms. CRA1, CRA2, CRA3 and CRA4. So regarding 4 forms we have, and what is CRA1 about? CRA1 is about maintenance of cost records. Form CRA1 is about maintenance of cost records. Now what is given in maintenance of cost records? Entirely how the cost records should be maintained is specified in 31 headings. Now what are these 31 headings? I have mentioned in my concept book. See, this is CRA1 as per rule 5 subsection 1. You have to remember the rules also because it will be tested in your MCQs. So try to remember rules if it is possible. If you haven't learned that so far, don't take it stress out. If you're not able to remember, that's absolutely fine. Rule 5 subsection 1, we have to maintain form CRA1 about maintenance of cost records. How management has to maintain cost records? By giving information about all these things like material, employee, utilities, expenses, repairs and material, overheads, administrative overheads, transportation cost, royalty and technical know-how fee. Similarly, we have all the elements of information which is important in the decision making and to maintain that cost records. Now everything has mentioned in 31 headings in form CRA1. Now to remember all these headings is not a task. We can't remember it. So what should be done, ma'am? What is frequently being tested in the examination? We'll remember that. That's more than enough. Now, in form CRA1, there are 2 major headings which are being tested in the examination. One is heading number 18, which talks about capacity determination. And the other is about heading number 24, related party transactions. Now regarding this related party transactions only, we have here question. What is the basis adopted to determine the normal price with respect to related party transactions? So you have to remember that this has been tested from heading number 24 or item number 24 of form CRA1. That is very, very important to be written in the examination. You can't just write this is from form CRA1. You have to write the heading number 24. I hope it's clear. Now, what is given in this related party transactions? See, heading number 24, I have clearly given in a shortcut format in my handwritten notes. Related party transactions. Now, what is question about? Determine normal price. Now, what is called as normal price? We are going to see. Normal price is the price charged for comparable or similar product, which means in the market there will be comparable product or similar product. For that products, whatever the price which is charged in ordinary course of business, and in that particular price, whatever it is there in the transaction, it should be the sole consideration of the sale, which means the entire price should be sole consideration. It should not be in kind or in any other format. It should be entirely in the price payment. And the sale is not made to a related party, which means to an unrelated party who is not at all considered or related to someone, not related party. and the transaction should not clouded due to proximity, which should not be done due any in the case of any biased opinion or in case of any influence, not made under any influence. So in this particular transaction, covering all these considerations, if there is a price which is charged in a transaction, it is called as a normal price. So you have to write this. Price charged for comparable and similar product in ordinary course of business, where the price charged is the sole consideration of a sale and sale is not made to a related party, and whatever the transaction is made is not clouded due to proximity and not made under any influence. In that kind of transaction, whatever the price which is paid is called as normal price. And how to determine what basis is adopted in determining this normal price? Basis adopted to determine normal price. This you also have in your direct taxation subject, which you take to be an international taxation. In that concept, we have this basis of adopted to related party transactions normal price. There you will determine arm's length price by using these methods. First is cup method, resale price method, cost plus method, profit split method, and transactional net margin method. So these are the bases adopted to determine the normal price. Disclosure of transaction with related parties, then NH2 cost audit report to be made for. To what kind of disclosure should be made? For each related party for the year as a whole, and for each product or service for the year as a whole. Regarding products and services also disclosure should be made, and regarding the related party also disclosure should be made. This is have been tested in your MCQs. So how disclosure of transaction related to related party should be made? Both as well as the related party and products or services, the disclosure should be made. So this is the answer which you have to write for what is the basis adopted to determine normal price with respect to related party transactions. Now how you are going to present it? You have to write as per item number 24 of CRA 1. Form CRA 1 talks about maintenance of cost records, and in which normal price is determined as such, and the basis adopted to determine normal price should be these. I hope it's clear. So this is how you have to present the answer in the examination. I hope CRA 1 is clear. Concept number 15 is, question number 15 is done. Now, question number 16. Now, what is question number 16? Question number 16 is also from concept number 8, December 2023 examination. Explain the term normal capacity versus installed capacity as defined in form CRA 1. As I have already told you that from heading number 18, capacity determination, a question is being tested in the examination. Now, what is heading number 18 capacity determination is telling us? Even if you are not knowing about capacity determination or related party transactions, you will be able to write it in the examination. But why we are discussing specially? Because if this question is being asked in the examination, you should know that this related party transaction is not a random subject for your cost audit, or this capacity determination is not from cost accounting standard 2, which talks about capacity determination, but this is being tested from form CRA 1. You need to have that clarification and you need to provide it in the answer also. I hope it's clear. Form CRA 1, heading number 18, capacity determination. Capacity can be measured on the basis of how many products are made, amount of service which is provided, machine hours and man hours. By considering all these elements, we can know what is the capacity. How we'll be able to measure how many products a machine is producing. Based on that also capacity can be measured. Amount of service, how much service time I am providing. That will determine my capacity. Machine hours, how many hours the machine is producing, and man hours, how much a human labor is working on that particular product or service. Based on all this consideration, we will be able to determine what is our capacity. And what is installed capacity? Installed capacity is called as a theoretical maximum production, which means without any interruptions, without considering any breakdowns or leaves or any free time, without considering anything. If I want to calculate my entire capacity, 100% capacity, that is called as installed capacity, which is determined as theoretical maximum production. And then what is normal capacity? Realistic output after accounting for holidays, maintenance and other factors. This holidays, maintenance and other factors, you can call it as interruptions. After considering all kind of interruptions, whatever the realistic output which we get is called as normal capacity. Without considering interruptions, if you are calculating theoretical maximum production, it is called as installed capacity. Now, what is capacity utilization? Now, what is my actual capacity? How much capacity I am doing the work based on actual production divided by what is my maximum production which I can achieve divided by installed capacity, and this will always be presented in percentage format, always will be expressed in a percentage format. That is called as capacity utilization. It shows how efficiently a plant is using its installed capacity based on the actual output. So based on actual output, how much installed capacity I am utilizing, it is called as capacity utilization. Now, installed capacity is maximum possible output of production under ideal conditions. Determined based on how installed capacity is determined. Manufacturer or trader specification, how they are specifying us, how much products we have to produce. Based on that only our capacity will determine. If you are telling me to take class for 3 hours, 3 hours will be my capacity. If you are telling me to take the entire 24 hours, 24 hours will be my capacity. Capacity of individual production center, how that production center can work for. If it can work only for 8 hours, after 8 hours no production will be done in an effective manner, so only 8 hours will be the capacity. Capacity of critical machine, how critical machines can work in that particular capacity in normal ideal conditions, and number of shifts. If there are 2 shifts in a day, only 2 shifts are the capacity. If there are 3 shifts, 3 shifts are the capacity. So determined based on manufacturer trader specification, capacities of individual production centers, capacity of critical machines, and number of shifts. Based on this, we will be determining the installed capacity. Now, what is the difference between or connection between normal capacity and installed capacity? Normal capacity is a practical output after some adjustments to the installed capacity. As I have told you, the interruptions, whatever the realistic output we get after the interruptions, that is called as normal capacity, which is practical output after some adjustments to installed capacity. Like holidays, shutdowns, ideal time, time lost in batch changes, time lost in maintenance and breakdown, loss in efficiency due to aging of equipment, number of shifts. So these are the interruptions which we take into consideration when we are going for installed capacity calculation to determine what is our practical output. It is called as normal capacity. I hope it is clear. So this is what you will write in the normal capacity versus installed capacity. First, you will write para 18. Form CRA1 from Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014. Even if I have given a CCRA, you will not write a CCRA in your examination. Please make it clear. Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014, you have to mention it. States that installed capacity is determined based on manufacturer technical specification, capacities of individual or interrelated production centers, operational constraints or capacity of critical machines, number of shifts. And normal capacity shall be determined based on the considerations. Holidays, normal time lost in batch changes, time lost due to maintenance and loss in efficiency due to aging of equipment. These are the points which you have to write it down. I hope it's clear. Any doubts so far? So question number 16 is also completed. Is it clear so far? Any doubts? Any doubts? Whatever we have discussed so far. Any doubts? Now, from Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014, if you are just focusing on theory, what you have to focus on much? Rule 2, Rule 3, Rule 4, Rule 5, Rule 6. Rule 1 is not so important. So the rules which are there. Rule 2, definitions, in that also I have given you 4 definitions. That definitions you have to remember. Rule 3, limits as well as exemptions. Rule 4, limits as well as exemptions. Rule 5, about the maintenance of cost records in Form CRA1 and the commencement date. And then Rule 6 is about cost audit. How the cost auditor will be appointed, who will be appointed, regarding all that you have to remember. And coming to forms, we have CRA 1, 2, 3 and 4. In that you have to remember form CRA 1, which talks about 31 headings, in which 2 headings are important, which is heading number 18 and heading number 24. These are more than enough for your examination theoretical concepts. I hope it's clear. Is it clear? Are we done with companies, cost records and audit rules 2014? Guys, give a quick reply in the chat box so we can move to the next unit. Is it clear? The questions in unit 2 of section A, cost audit. Is everything clear? Are we done with unit 2? If you have any doubts, then you can ask me quickly. Shreya, yes ma'am. Shreya is clear. What about others? I want a active participation in the chat box. Please be active in the chat box. Only then I'll know what are your kind of queries. Is it clear? Guys, are you there in live or else are you following it up? Yes. Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, we are going to move to the unit 3, cost auditor. We are going to unit 3, cost auditor. Yashwant, yes ma'am. Thank you, Yashwant. Bhanu Teja, yes ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Bhanu Teja. Thank you so much. So yes, unit 3, cost auditor. We are moving to unit 3, cost auditor. Yes, madam, clear. Jagan, Rajesh, yes ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now we are moving on to unit 3, cost auditor. Now, we'll see what questions are important. Now, question number 1. Now, what is question number 1? And it is from which concept? Now, unit 3, cost auditor. Question number 1 from concept 2 and concept number 3, which has been tested in December 2024 attempt and MQP of June 2025. So, this is your mock question paper question, which is important for your examination. Question number 1. As per Companies Act 2013, enumerate the qualifications and disqualifications of a cost auditor. So, we have to go for the qualifications and disqualifications of a cost auditor. Concept 2 as well as concept number 3. This we will give a quick revision through our handwritten notes. Now, as per Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014, Rule 2C, we have seen about cost auditor. Now, who is called as a cost auditor? A cost accountant in practice who is appointed by the board of directors. Now, who is cost accountant in practice? Who is CMA? Holding a valid certificate of practice and who is deemed to be in practice. He is called as cost accountant in practice. He has to be appointed by board of directors. Then he will be called as a cost auditor. Now, who is cost accountant in practice? Cost accountant as defined in ICMAI Act holds a valid certificate of practice deemed to be in practice, which includes individual, firm and LLP of CMAs. This we have seen. Now, what are the qualifications of cost auditor? When they are asking about qualifications and disqualifications, first you have to write about a cost auditor definition, which has been given under Rule 2C of Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014, which is very much important. Then you have to write about cost accountant in practice. Then you will move to qualifications and disqualifications. I hope it's clear. And qualifications is given under which section? Companies Act 2013. Section number 141, which talks about commonly qualifications, disqualifications, rights, duties and responsibilities of auditors and company. Section 141 read with section 148 of Companies Act 2013 and along with Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014. You have to write all these 3 points when you are going for qualifications. Section 141 read with section 148 and along with Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014, we have qualifications of cost auditor. Now, what are the qualifications? Cost auditor. He should be a person and that person should be a cost accountant. Cost accountant as per ICMAI Act. He should hold a valid certificate of practice. He should also be a member of institute and his name should appear in the register of members. He should be eligible for appointment, not disqualified, satisfies section 141. includes individual, partnership firm and LLP. In case of individual, person will cover the individual. In case of partnership firm, majority of partners should be practicing in India and qualified for the appointment. In case of LLP, only partners who are cost accountants, only they are authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm. Even the in cost audit report, engagement letter or any kind of documents, the name of cost auditor will be as LLP. But who will act and sign on behalf of LLP? Only cost accountants will act and sign on behalf of LLP. Other members or partners of LLP will not be involved in any kind of decision making or any kind of activities inside the companies as a cost auditor. I hope it's clear. So these are the definitions. What all? Come again with me. Person, cost accountant, as per ICWA Act, holds a valid COP. He should also be a member of institute and his name should appear in the register of members. He should be eligible for appointment, not disqualified, satisfy section 141. Includes individual, LLP and partnership firm. In case of partnership firm, partner should be practicing in India, having a valid COP, then those partnership firm can be eligible for cost auditor. In case of LLP, LLP will become a cost auditor, but only the cost accountants who are there as a partners in LLP will act and sign on behalf of firm. I hope it's clear. So these are the qualifications of cost auditor. Gangotri Das, ma'am, kindly upload Super 50 for paper 13. Only 10 days left in hand there. Oh, you are asking for corporate and economic laws. Yes, Gangotri Das. It will be uploaded by today. By today, it will be uploaded. Disqualifications of cost auditor. Now, what are the disqualifications of cost auditor? Companies Act 2013, Section 141, read with Rule 10 of Companies Audit and Auditors Rules 2014, and with Section 148 of Companies Act 2013. So you have to write all these three. Next, what are the disqualifications? These are common for individual or entities, which means partnership firm or LLP. All disqualifications are same. Now, what are the disqualifications? Body corporate except LLP. Any body corporate except LLP is disqualified to be appointed as a cost auditor. His own company's officer or employee. Now, whatever the company or partnership firm or LLP which is going to be appointed as a cost auditor, if that company's officer or employee is going to become a cost auditor, then they are disqualified. Can they be appointed in any other company? Yes, they can. But in the same company in which they are working, they can't appoint. Person associated with the officer or employee is working in the company. If any related person of officer or employee in the company is there, that related person, officer, employee, all the three are disqualified to be appointed. Person, his relative, his partner holds securities or has interest in company, associate company, subsidiary company, holding company. If they have any kind of securities and if they have any kind of interest in the company, his either a person or his relative or his partner, if any of them are having, all the three are disqualified, and that too disqualified in company, subsidiary company, associate company and also holding company. In all the companies, all the three are disqualified. If a relative of any partner of audit firm holds securities in company more than 1 lakh rupees, then the relative is disqualified to be appointed as a cost auditor. Here, person or the partner, if he is holding any kind of securities or interest, they are disqualified. But if a relative of any partner, person, his partner, partner's a relative if it is there, which means the partnership firm or LLP is there, their partner's relative, if they are holding for more than 1 lakh rupees, then that particular partner or that firm will be disqualified. Person or relative or partner indebted to company, associate company, subsidiary company, holding company for more than 5 lakh rupees, then person, relative and partner will be disqualified to be appointed in all these companies. Person, relative, partner given guarantee for indebtedness of third party in company, associate company, subsidiary company, holding company. Here there is an additional point called a subsidiary of holding company for more than 1 lakh rupees. Then all them are disqualified to be appointed in all these companies. Person or firm directly or indirectly has any kind of business relationship with company, associate company, subsidiary company, holding company, subsidiary of holding company. In all these companies, if they are having any business relationship. Now, what is called as a business relationship? Any transaction entered into for a commercial purpose in the course of normal business. If they are entering into any kind of transaction, then they are disqualified. But exceptions are there. What are the exceptions? Transaction which are not in nature of professional service permitted to be rendered by auditor or audit firm, which means we have specialized services given under section 144. If the auditor is providing not the specialized services but any other services which are permitted to be given, which means he can give that, he can provide that services to the company. These are not prohibited services. If he is giving any permitted services, even if it is in a commercial purpose, then it is okay. Even if it is in a business relationship, he will be eligible to be appointed as a cost auditor, not disqualified. And the second exception, commercial transactions which are in ordinary course of business and the company at the arm's length relationship. If between the person and the company the transaction is there and that transaction is based on a normal price and an arm's length relationship, then even if it is a business relationship, they are not disqualified. And if they are providing services which are permitted in nature, then they are not disqualified. They are qualified to be appointed. So this is regarding the business relationship. Person or firm directly or indirectly has any kind of business relationship. In company, associate, subsidiary, holding, subsidiary of holding, we have two exemptions for that which you have to remember and write it down in the examination. Next, relative as a director or key managerial person. Then director, KMP, relative, all are disqualified to be appointed as cost auditor. Full-time employment elsewhere and exceeded the auditor's limit. Now, who will be appointed as the cost auditor? A cost accountant in practice having a valid COP and deemed to be in practice. If he is in full-time practice, how he will be a full-time employee elsewhere? If he is a full-time employee elsewhere, he is disqualified. He is working for another professional. How he will come and do the audit for my company? No, it's not allowed. And he's exceeded the auditor's limit. Now, what is auditor's limit? Similar to director's limit, whatever we have auditor limit. Companies Act 2013 limits number of companies on auditor can do audit at the same time, not throughout his lifetime. At same time, he can't do the audit for more than 20 companies at a time. He should be an only auditor for 20 companies. And exceptions are OPC, small company, dormant company, private limited company, paid up share capital is less than 100 crore rupees. These are exemptions. Other than these companies, he can be appointed for 20 companies at a same time. If he is being appointed for 21st company, he is disqualified. I hope it's clear. Next, convicted for fraud and 10 years period has not elapsed after the date of release, not from the date of imprisonment. If he is being imprisoned and the imprisonment term is for 10 years, right after releasing, he will be appointed? No. After getting released, after free from imprisonment, 10 years should be elapsed. Convicted for fraud and 10 years period is not elapsed. After 10 years, he can be appointed as a cost auditor. Engaged in specialized services. Now, what are the specialized services which are given under section 144? These specialized services. Person, its subsidiary, associate or any other entity is providing services to company, subsidiary company at the date of appointment. When they are appointing on the date of appointment, if the person, its subsidiary, they are providing the specialized services, then on that day they are disqualified. If they have provided priorly, it's okay. Now at this date of point, when they are being appointed, they should not provide the services. Now, what are those services? Accounting and bookkeeping services, outsourced financial services, internal audit services, design and implementation of financial information system, actuarial services, management services, and investment advisory or banking services. In my handwritten notes, I have given all the explanations which you can go through. In examination, no need of writing the explanation for each and everything. You can just write down the points. Accounting and bookkeeping services, outsourced financial services, internal audit services, design and implementation of financial information system, actuarial services, management services, investment advisory or banking services. These are classified as specialized services which are prohibited to be given by a person who is being appointed as a cost auditor. If at the date of appointment, if he is providing any of the services, he is disqualified to be appointed as a cost auditor. I hope it's clear. These are the qualifications and disqualifications of a cost auditor. So first you have to write who is a cost auditor and cost accountant in practice. Then you have to write about qualifications and disqualifications. Now this is being asked as a 7 marks question and we have so many points in it. Do we have to write all the points? Not needed. If you are writing qualifications, write 5 points for qualifications. For disqualifications, 5 points. You will write a cost auditor definition and cost accountant in practice definition. That's more than enough. I hope it's clear. And if it is being given as a separate questions, yes, you have to write all the points. I hope it's clear. Now, question number 1 is done. Now, what is question number 3? What is question number 3? Question number 3 is from concept 4 and concept number 7, which has been tested in December 2023 and also December 2023 in both 2016 syllabus and 2022 syllabus, and it is also a board material question. Now, what is concept number 4 and 7 from our concept book? Concept number 4 is appointment of cost auditor. Now, what is concept number 7? Remuneration of a cost auditor. So, regarding this, the question is tested. Now, what is question? ABC was appointed as a cost auditor of MQR Limited for the financial year 2023 and 24. After 3 months of appointment, for some reason, the cost auditor becomes disqualified to be appointed as a cost auditor. State the steps to be taken by the company as a consequence of such event. So, this is given as the appointment. So, this we have to discuss regarding concept number 4. So, regarding the appointment. Now, whatever we have seen as section 148. In that section 148, whatever points we have, that we are going to discuss here. Now, appointment of cost auditor. Concept number 4. Refer section 148 of Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014. Now, what is given under section 148? We are going to see that. See, this is given as a section 148. Central government to specify audit of items of cost in respect of certain companies. This we have already seen. Central government may order certain class of companies to include in the books of accounts related to utilization of material, labor and other items of cost. And then central government, if it is of opinion, may direct the manner of conducting audit of certain companies. Cost auditor shall be appointed by cost accountant in practice and shall be appointed by the board of directors. This is very important, given under 148 subsection 3. This is also being tested as your MCQ question. So, cost audit shall be conducted by cost accountant in practice and shall be appointed by the board of directors. Any other auditor of company cannot be appointed as a cost auditor. Auditor shall comply with cost accounting standards on cost auditing. Then, audit conducted under 148 should be along with 143, which talks about the auditor's qualifications and how they are being appointed. Next, qualifications, disqualifications, rights, duties and obligations applicable to other auditors shall so far as may be applicable applies to the cost auditor as well. And company within 30 days of, cost auditor shall submit a cost audit report to the board of directors. And within 30 days of receiving cost audit report, they have to furnish it to the central government with a cost audit report with full information and explanation on reservation and qualification. If after considering cost audit report, central government is of opinion that further information or explanation is needed, it may call for such further information. And then if any default is made, company and every officer will be liable under section 147 subsection 1 and cost auditor will be liable under 147 subsection 2 to 147 subsection 5. This is not and. Most of students get confused here. 147 subsection 2 to 147 subsection 5 for every cost auditor. This regarding section 148 you have to write it. And then we have cost audit rule 6. See, here in rule 6, we have the entire appointment details. Company within 180 days from the commencement of financial year shall conduct a board meeting in which cost auditor has to be appointed by passing a board's resolution by the board of directors. And then after appointment, company has to inform the cost auditor about his or her appointment and obtain a consent letter and a certificate from the cost auditor. Now, what will be the contents of certificate? Details of cost auditor, whether he is individual, firm or LLP. He is eligible and not disqualified for the appointment. Appointment is within limits and as per rules. Satisfy section 141, which is qualification, disqualification, rights and duties of auditor, and matter disclosed in the certificate is true and fair. All these contents should be there in the certificate which is given by the cost auditor. And then after appointment, intimation of appointment of cost auditor by the company. Company shall file a notice in form CRA2. We have seen that form CRA1 is about maintenance of cost records. Now, what is form CRA2? Company giving intimation about the appointment of cost auditor to the central government. Intimation of appointment of cost auditor by company to central government will be done in form CRA2. Company shall file a notice in form CRA2 to the central government. Now, what is the time limit of giving this filing notice? Within 30 days of board meeting in which the appointment is made, or within 180 days from the commencement of financial year, whichever is earlier. If within 180 days is appointed, from that within 30 days they have to give the form CRA2, or within 30 days of board meeting in which they have appointed, whichever is earlier, they have to file it in form CRA2 to the central government. Electronic mode and with a prescribed fee. And then after that, auditor to continue in his office till the expiry of 180 days from the closure of financial year. Within commencement, 180 days he will be appointed, or after that, when he will resign from his office till the last date of 180 days from the closure of financial year, or till he or she submits the cost audit report. He will be continuing in his office. Cost auditor can be removed from his office before expiry of his term. Yes, he can be removed when he is being appointed. Who is appointing him? Board of directors. Who can remove him? Board of directors. When appointing, board's resolution is being passed. When even retirement or removal also, they have to give a board's resolution. Through board's resolution, reasonable opportunity of being heard to be given to the cost auditor, and board shall record the reasons in writing. For appointing new auditor, after removal, they have to appoint a new auditor. When he will be appointed, company shall furnish in again form CRA2. Revised form CRA2 should be given to the central government, filed to the central government within 30 days to the central government. So, the removal will be done. Within removal, 30 days. Within 30 days of removal, they have to appoint a new cost auditor. The same procedure, board meeting will be conducted, board's resolution will be passed, consent letter will be obtained, certificate will be obtained, whatever we have seen, all things will be repeated again for new cost auditor also. So, after appointing within 30 days, after that appointment, within 30 days, they have to file a notice to the central government. So, removal within 30 days, appointment within 30 days, file a notice to the central government. I hope it's clear. Cost auditor also has the right to resign from his office. Casual vacancy, if anything is there, due to anything, resignation, death, removal, disqualification, he has to be appointed within 30 days. The new auditor should be appointed. Cost auditor shall within 180 days from the closure of financial year shall submit a cost audit report which is duly signed in form CRA 3. Now, what is CRA1? Maintenance of cost records. What is form CRA2? Intimation of appointment of cost auditor by company to central government. What is form CRA3? Cost audit report which is prepared and duly signed by the cost auditor. That submit should be done along with reservations, observations, qualifications and suggestions. And then cost statements, cost records and other statements to be annexed to the cost audit report shall be revised and approved by the board of directors. Before giving this for verification, board of directors will approve the cost statements and cost records. Then this will be submitted to the cost auditor for doing the verification. After verification is done, after board's approval and before filing it with the central government, after verification, cost auditor will give a cost audit report. Yes or no? This cost audit report, before filing it with the central government in form CRA3, must be signed by company secretary and at least one director. Cost auditor, he will anyway sign it because he is preparing the cost audit report. Cost auditor will do the signature. Company secretary will do the signature and at least one director will do the signature. After the signatures are done in form CRA3, which is called as cost audit report, in form CRA4, they will file it with the central government. Company within 30 days from the receipt of copy of cost audit report shall furnish cost audit report duly signed by cost auditor, company secretary and at least one director in form CRA4 to the central government in XBRL format. What is XBRL? Extensible Business Reporting Language, which is our unit 8, which talks about filing and disclosure of cost audit report. How filing will be done in XBRL format. Everything is covered under unit 8. Company has to upload form CRA4 electronically to MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, under rule 6 subsection 6. This is being asked in your MCQ. In rule 6 subsection 6, cost audit report is being filed to the central government in XBRL format. MCQ question of company's cost records and audit rules 2014. So these are the appointment details of a cost auditor. Do we have to write all these points, ma'am? Yes, you have to write it. Now, what they have asked here. First, ABC company is appointed PQR Limited. ABC was appointed as a cost auditor of PQR Limited. After 3 months of appointment, for some reasons, a cost auditor becomes disqualified. Now, what happens if cost auditor has become disqualified after appointment? He has to vacate the office. He has to vacate the office. If after appointment he has come across any of the disqualifications, right after that he has to vacate the office. Now, first you will write that he will vacate the office and board of directors will fill that vacancy within 30 days of that particular vacancy. And how this will be filled? Board's resolution will be passed through a board meeting. Through a board meeting, board's resolution will be passed and a new cost auditor will be appointed. Same, the engagement letter will be given, consent letter will be obtained, certificate will be obtained, and after his appointment, within 180 days from the commencement of financial year, here it is not there because he is a new cost auditor. So within 30 days of the appointment, form CRA2 will be filed to the central government as a notice that intimating about the cost auditor appointment. Then after that, they will collect a cost audit report, and after collecting cost audit report within 30 days it will be filed to the central government in form CRA4. You have to write about forms, you have to write about the limits also. So this is regarding audit committee. Now to whom, if there is a audit committee in the company, then audit committee will appoint. See, in this remuneration itself we have another point called as appointment point. It's very simple. It's not so complicated at all. Now, see here in remuneration, one point for appointment is that if the company is having an audit committee, then how appointment will be done? Audit committee will recommend about the cost auditor appointment and board of directors will appoint a cost auditor. If no audit committee is there, direct the appointment will be done by the board of directors of a company. So you have to write that point also. If company is having an audit committee will give the recommendation and board of directors will appoint. If no audit committee, directly board of directors will appoint a cost auditor. And then you have to write about all the limits. Form CRA2, Form CRA3 and Form CRA4. I hope everything is clear. So this is regarding the question number 3. You have to write about the appointment. I hope it's clear. Now question number 4. Now what is question number 4? From concept number 10, which has been tested in MQP December 24 and MQP of June 24. Discuss duties of a cost auditor to report fraud as per section 143 of Companies Act 2013. Now, what are the duties of a cost auditor? Now, we have rights and duties of a cost auditor concept. Now, this has been specified under section 148 subsection 5 of Companies Act 2013. Now, what is given under 148 subsection 5? Now, whatever qualifications, disqualification, rights and duties which are there for financial auditor are equally applicable to the cost auditor. This provision is given under section 148 subsection 5. Now, in Companies Act 2013, where did rights and duties of financial cost auditor is given? It is given under section 143. I hope it's clear. So, you have to write section 148 subsection 5 of Companies Act 2013, which tells that whatever rights and duties are applicable to other auditor, which is financial auditor, are equally applicable to the cost auditor. Then as per section 143 of Companies Act 2013, these are rights and duties of cost auditor. Now, what are the rights? Having full access to all records and information, getting full assistance from the company, doing the entire audit in an independent format, then reporting of any kind of fraud and protection from the liability. Now, what is the reporting of fraud and protection from liability? This is also an important concept. Section 143 subsection 12 of Companies Act 2013. Now, in the section 143 subsection 12, reporting of fraud concept is given. Now, auditor, if he has a reason to believe that any offense of fraud is committed by any officer or employee of a company, then he has to verify what is the amount of that particular fraud. Now, if the amount is lesser than the specified amount by the government, now what is specified amount? Less than 1 crore rupees. If it is less than 1 crore rupees, then he will report to the audit committee. If audit committee is there, if no audit committee is there, he will directly report it to the board of directors. Disclose the details of fraud in the board's report. Now, after intimating, board of directors will report in the board's report. If it is more than 1 crore, more than higher than the specified amount, then no need to go for audit committee or board of directors. Directly report it to the central government. So, reporting of fraud is his right, which is given under section 143 subsection 12. Now, what is this protection from liability? Now, who will appoint cost auditor? Board of directors will appoint, which means board of directors are acting as an employer to the cost auditor who is an employee. Now, if board of directors are appointing and if cost auditor is not giving an intimation to the board of directors but directly reporting it to the central government, isn't that isn't that mean that he is not doing his work properly? No, because in section 143 subsection 12 there is a clear-cut provision that if the fraud amount is higher than the specified amount, which is more than 1 crore rupees, there is no need of intimating to board of directors or audit committee. Cost auditor can directly report to the central government, and as a right, he will be protected from liability from board of directors and audit committee. If he is directly reporting it to the central government, board of directors will not have any right to question the cost auditor because he has given a right of protection from liability from section 143 subsection 12. I hope it's clear. These are the rights of cost auditor. Now, what are the duties of cost auditor? He has to comply with all these standards. Either it is a cost accounting standard or a cost auditing standard. Submission of report, he has to submit his cost audit report. Contents of report, what all should be the contents of auditor's report? He has to give a confirmation. Confirmation about what? Information is obtained. Only annexure to the cost audit report gives the true and fair view. Whatever information is obtained and which is given in the cost audit report, everything is true and fair. Regarding the confirmation should be given. And he needs to verify. Verify what? Cost records are maintained. Unit-wise cost statements are kept by the management. And he has to give the assurance that received returns from the branches not visited. Now, if there are any subsidiary companies, if they are not visited, even though the records are collected, the returns are collected, and he has to give an opinion. Books and records provide the information as per law. Adequate internal audit system is maintained. Regarding all this, he has to have a contents of audit report, which is his duty. In his audit report, he has to give confirmation, verification, assurance, and opinion. I hope it's clear. Next, he has to report about the fraud. 143 subsection 12. Now, reporting of fraud is a right as well as a duty of a cost auditor. And whatever the reporting is done should be given on a timely basis. So, all these are the duties and rights of a cost auditor. I hope it's clear. Now, here duties of cost auditor is given. Immediate reporting to the central government. If cost auditor believes that there is any fraud, then he has to report the fraud. Protection from good faith reporting. He will be protected from liability. Applicability of cost auditor. Now, whatever the provision applied under 114 subsection 5 is applied. Penalty for non-compliance. If it's not complying with that, then he will be penalized. Then reporting timely basis he have to report. And 2, whenever the fraud has been come to his knowledge, within 2 days, he has to report it to the central government or board of directors or audit committee. Within 2 days, he has to give a report. You have to remember this. Within 2 days, you have to give a report of fraud. And in that reporting, description of fraud will be there, approximate amount involved, names of parties involved. And if a board if he is intimating to the board of directors or audit committee, after that they have to give details of fraud in the board's report. In board's report, what they will give? Nature and description, approximate amount, name of parties, same. But additional point is that details of remedial action taken by the board of director or audit committee. Regarding that, they have to intimate. I hope it's clear. This is question number 4 regarding duties of cost auditor. They can even ask about rights of cost auditor, and they can even ask about 143 subsection 12 about reporting of fraud. So if I have given a question to be super 50 important question, that doesn't mean that only this question is important. It means whatever connected topics of this are there, everything is important. Here duties question is given, no. So rights are also important. Duties are also important. Connected to that reporting of fraud concept is also important. You have to think it in that way and prepare for yourself. Don't again tell me that ma'am, you have only given this question to be super 50 question. So we have only gone through this question. No, I'm telling you to go through with the concept related to this particular super 50 questions. I hope I'm clear. Now, question 4 is also completed. Now, question number 6. Now, what is question number 6? Question number 6 is from concept number 13. Now, what is concept number 13? Now, what is concept number 13? Which talks about professional ethics, which has been tested in June 2023 examination and also MQP December 24 and also board material question. Now, write a short note on code of professional ethics which need to be followed in the field of cost and management accounting. So, if they are asking about code of professional ethics, you have to write about professional ethics. Or else, cost accountants are bound by certain professional ethics and requested to observe some fundamental principles that will have to be followed by a cost accountant. So, what are the professional ethics and what are fundamental principles to be followed by a cost auditor? Any question can be tested in any format, it can be tested. So, this is from concept number 13. Now, what are the code of professional ethics and fundamental principles? The Code of Professional Ethics for Cost and Management Accountants highlights the ethical responsibilities and standards that professionals in this field must uphold. These ethical standards are critical to maintaining trust, credibility, and professional reputation. If you are acting as a CMA, Cost and Management Accountant, which means you are bound to follow certain code of conduct, which means even in your workplace or even outside of your business relationship, you have to maintain code of conduct, which means you should maintain the professionalism in your work, and also you have to maintain the professional ethics. Now, what are professional ethics? We are going to see. Now, objectives of accountancy profession. What are the objectives? Credibility, which means ensuring trust in information and information system. Whatever you are talking about, whatever you are doing about, if you are giving any statement, that should be based on a verified data, because you are acting as a professional. You can't just randomly tell about something based on your 7th sense, 6th sense, 8th sense. No. You have to talk only if you have a confirmation about it, valid proof about it, verified data. Based on that only there should be there, because the basic objective of accountancy profession is credibility, which means trust in information. Everyone has to trust the information. If information is not there, don't trust. Be with professional skepticism. Always be in a doubtful mindset. And professionalism, gaining recognition from employers, clients, and others as trusted professionals. So you have to gain the recognition from your employees, clients, and others as you are acting in a professionalism. Quality of service, whatever service you provide, even if you provide a small service, that should be in a professional basis. Providing high standards of performance. Confidence and ethics. Whatever you are following as your personal ethics, you have to be confident in it. Now, if you tell that I am wearing any particular thing, for example, a religious format, it is your ethic, which means you are following, you are believing it, you are following it. You have to be confident in your ethics. If you're telling that in my professional life, I'll not do these kind of category things, which means you have to not do it any point of time. Those are called as professional ethics. You have to have confidence in your ethics. Establishing trust through a framework of ethical standards governing the professional or provision of service. Whatever service you provide, you will maintain your ethics within you. These are the objectives of accountancy profession. Now, what are the fundamental principles? We have 5 fundamental principles: integrity, objectivity, confidence, confidentiality, and professional behavior. What are those 5? Integrity, objectivity, competence, confidentiality, and professional behavior. Now, what does it mean by integrity? Being straightforward, honest, and truthful in all professional services. What is objectivity? Ensure fairness and impartiality, avoiding prejudice, bias, or any kind of undue influence from others. And being competent. If you know what you are doing, if you know how to do that work, then take up the work. If you don't know it, just don't take it up. After taking it up, you shouldn't do it in a wrong way, because you have to act in a professionalism and you have to provide a quality of service, because this is a major objective. Which means if you are competent to do any work, then take up the work. If you are not competent to do so, then do not touch that work itself. If you need any advice, if you want to do it but doesn't know how to do it, seek advice from your seniors, seek advice from the experienced professionals. After taking enough advice, after getting yourself prepared for the work, after feeling you're competent to do so, do it. Provide services only when competent to do so. If needed, seek advice and assistance to ensure quality and satisfaction. Next, confidentiality. Either your personal information, either your client information, either your professional information, you have to maintain in a confidential manner. You should not leak at any point of time, either by mistake also. Respect confidentiality and not disclose any information obtained in the course of professional work unless legally and professionally required. If it is required by law, if it is required as a fraud, then you can disclose it. Unless otherwise, you should not. Professional behavior. Act in a manner that maintains and enhances the reputation of profession. Always be in a professional behavior. So these are the fundamental principles and objectives of accountancy profession, which you have to write as an answer for professional ethics. I hope it's clear. First, you'll write any cost and management accountant has to maintain code of ethics and professional ethics. Then what are the objectives? Credibility, professionalism, quality of service, confidence in ethics. Then fundamental principles: integrity, objectivity, competence, confidentiality, and professional behavior. I hope it's clear. So question number 6 is done. Now, what is next? Next, I have given us concept number 15. Now, what is concept number 15, which is very, very important? I have given the entire concept to be important. Professional and other misconduct. This can be tested in your MCQ also. This can be tested as a theory question also. However, this can be tested in your examination. So MCQ can also be tested. Theory question can also be tested. Now, what are the concept 15? Professional and other misconduct. See, professional and other misconduct. As per Cost and Work Accountants Act 1959, we have Act, we have Council, and we have Institute. Now, what is Act? For regulation of profession of cost and management accountancy, we have an act called as Cost and Work Accountants Act 1959. And through this act, we have a council. They have established a council. Now, what does this council do? For management of affairs and to discharge the functions assigned to it by the act. So, act has already given you some regulations. To implement these regulations, to act on behalf of act, whatever it has told, the council will do the work. And council has given rights to the institute. Council finds prima facie case of a professional and other misconduct. So, in this professional and other misconduct, whatever points are there, everything will be found out by the council. If they have come across any professional and other misconduct, they will intimate to the institute. So, institute will inquire and investigate matters and take the disciplinary action. So, if you say this is the act, this is the court, and this is the police officer or the investigative officer, whoever will take it as. So, if they have come across anything, they will intimate to the institute and institute will do the inquiry. So, this is regarding the professional and other misconduct introduction. Now, how is this production and other misconduct is given in our act? In our Cost and Work Accountants Act, we have schedules to the act. How many schedules we have? We have 2 schedules. First schedule and second schedule. Now, what does it call? Now, in first schedule, we have 4 parts. Part 1 talks about Professional misconduct in a relation to cost accountants and practice. If a person is a cost accountant in practice, if he is doing these kind of activities, that activities are considered as professional and other misconduct. Part 2 talks about professional misconduct in relation to members of institute and service. He can be a member of institute and he is in service, either as an employment or in practice, whatever it is, he is in service. Then in that case, whatever activities are done, that will be treated as professional and other misconduct. Part 3, relation to members of institute generally. He should be a member, that's it. He could be in any kind of thing. He should be member of institute generally. Part 4, other misconduct in relation to members of institute generally. This is not about professional misconduct but other misconduct. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 talks about professional misconduct. Part 1 talks about professional misconduct of cost accountant in practice. Part 2, professional misconduct of members of institute generally. And Part 3, members of institute generally. Members of institute in service, and Part 3 about general members. And second schedule. In second schedule, we have 3 parts. Part 1, professional misconduct in relation to cost accountant in practice. Part 2, professional misconduct in relation to members of institute generally. And Part 3, other misconduct in relation to members of institute generally. Now, what are the acts which are given in these particular schedules? Now, Part 1, which gives us about professional misconduct in relation to cost accountants in practice. Now, what are the activities? First, practicing in name. A cost accountant cannot allow anyone to practice in their name unless that person is also qualified cost accountant in practice, either as a partner or employee. If you are a partner or an employee of that particular cost accountant, then you can act on the name of that cost accountant. If not, any other person cannot take the name of a cost accountant. Practicing in name is a professional misconduct. Exemptions, partner and employee can do the practice in their own name. Sharing fees or profits. A cost accountant cannot pay, agree to pay or allow sharing of fees, commission or brokerage to anyone other than a member of institute, a partner, retired partner or a legal representative of a deceased partner. Which means if you are a cost accountant, you can't pay or agree to pay or allow sharing of fees, commission or brokerage, which means any kind of payment should not be done. To whom it can be done, we have exemptions. You can do it to any other member of institute, your partner, retired partner or a legal representative of a deceased partner. For these members, you can pay, agree to pay, allow sharing of fees, commission or brokerage. But other than this, member of institute, partner, retired partner, legal representative, if they are not these, you can't share the fees or profits. Accepting profits from non-members. A cost accountant cannot accept any part of profits from a person who is not a member of institute unless it is a profit sharing agreement, which means you and him are into a profit sharing agreement, which means you are doing a work and for that work, whatever profit is coming, you are sharing it in a profit sharing ratio. If that's the case, then you can do it. If other than that, you are acting as an employee of that particular company or that particular person, if he is giving any profit share, then you can't accept it. You can't share the profits also. Accepting profits from a non-member. Entering into partnership. A cost accountant cannot enter into partnership with anyone other than cost accountant in practice, members of recognized professional body like CACS, you can get into partnership with them, including those with recognized qualification or those residing abroad. Even if they are in outside countries also, if they are practicing there also, you can get into partnership with them if they would otherwise qualify to be a member. So entering into partnership with any other member is prohibited, but you can enter into partnership with other cost accountant in practice or a member of a recognized professional body. Securing business. A cost accountant cannot secure professional business through unrecognized means or through non-employees, which means through brokerage. By giving commission to someone, you can't get the business clients. If you're doing that, then it is called as unrecognized means or from non-employees. If you're trying to bring the clients, that is prohibited. However, arrangements outlined in Rule 2, 3 and 4 are allowed. If you are getting into sharing of fees and profits from these, it is allowed. If you are accepting profits from members other than non-members, if it is done, it is Okay. Entering into partnership with cost accountant in practice or any other professional body member, then it is allowed. Other than that, if you're doing it, it is not allowed. Next, at last, soliciting clients, which means you are bringing clients through advertisement, circular, interviews, personal communication. You are going and dubbing yourself, which means you are talking about good things about yourself. If you're doing it, then which means you are bringing clients. For bringing clients, you are doing permay about yourself, which means you're talking about higher about yourself, which means it is soliciting clients. So all these are given in part 1 of first schedule. Next is advertising professional attainments. A cost accountant cannot advertise their services or use titles other than cost accountant on professional documents unless it is a recognized university. Before your name, you can only put as CMA before or after. Unless otherwise, it is a degree or a membership title from a recognized institution. If you have a degree from a proper recognized university, then you can put that degree. If you have a membership title from any other recognized body like CA, CAs or any other professional institution, then you can put that before your name. Unless otherwise that you can't put any qualification before your name. I hope it's clear. So these all are given under part 1 of first schedule. Now, part 2, professional misconduct in relation to members of institute in service. If they are in service, a member of institute other than a member in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he is being an employee of a company, which means you are acting as an employee of a company. In that case, if you are doing the services, then it is a professional misconduct. Sharing emoluments, you can't share your salary with anyone. With your family members, yes, you can do so. But other than that, external people, you can't share your profits and fees. If a member, while employed by a company, firm or person, pays or agrees to pay directly or indirectly any share of their salary, bonus, gratuity, all are called as emoluments. If you are receiving any kind of payment from your employer by acting in a capacity as an employee, then you can't share it with anyone. To any other person, it is considered as a professional misconduct. You can share it with your family, you can share it with your friends, that's okay. But in professional capacity, you should not share it with anyone. Accepting commission or gratification. If a member accepts or agrees to accept any portion of fees, profit or gains from the following. You can't take the commission or gratification, which means as a gratitude, you are taking any payment. You can't take it. From whom you can't take it? Not from all, but from a lawyer, a cost accountant, or a broker engaged by company, firm or person, which means you are acting as an employee in ABC Limited and there is a lawyer or a cost accountant or a broker who is related to ABC Limited, then you can't get into relationship or you can't take the commission or gratification from that lawyer, that cost accountant, that broker who is related to ABC company. If they are not related to ABC company, you can. But if they are related to ABC company, then you can't take it. An agent or customer of a company, firm or person by way of commission or gratification as an unlawful reward, they would be deemed guilty of professional misconduct. You can't take any commission or gratification from an agent or a customer of a company, firm or person in which you are working. Other than that, you can do so. So these are the 2 points which are there in part 2. If you are acting as an employee of a company and you are a member of institute, you are working in service. I hope it's clear. Now part 3, professional misconduct in relation to members of institute generally. So generally shall be deemed to whether in practice or not, whether you are in practice or whether you are in employment. Part 1 talks about only in practice. Part 2 talks about member who is acting as an employee. Part 3, either in practice or not. First, pretending to be a fellow member. Now, when you can become a member of institute, if you have a 3 years of experience, then you can apply for membership. Then, when you will become a fellow member, you will be called as a fellow member if you are senior member of that particular fellow or senior members and falsely claiming the status is unethical, which means you are a senior member of that particular institution. So if you are having a 10 years of experience, then you can become a fellow member, or if you are acting as a member of institute for 5+ years, then you will be called as a fellow member. So pretending to be a fellow, if you are having that kind of experience and if you are having that fellow membership, then you have to tell it that you are a fellow membership. Other than that, if you are claiming to be a fellow member, even though if you are not a fellow member, that is a professional misconduct as per part 3. Non-compliance with information reports. If these recognized bodies are coming to you and asking about any kind of information, you have to provide it. If you are not providing it, then it is a professional misconduct. Now, who will come and ask you? Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Council or any other committee, Directorate of Discipline, Board of Discipline, Disciplinary Committee, Quality Review Board, Appellate Authority. If these are coming and asking about any kind of information, you have to provide it. If you are not providing it, it is a professional misconduct. Providing false information. If you are acting in a practice or if you are being an employee, if someone is asking for information and willfully you are providing a false information. If a member provides false information knowingly when inviting professional work from another cost accountant, responding to tenders or inquiries, advertising their services through a write-up or a similar means as provided for under the guidelines for soliciting clients. For soliciting clients, you can't give advertisements, you can't give circulars, but you can give write-ups, which means about yourself, you can write it and you can publish it. So you can do that. For soliciting clients, you will issue the write-up, and in this write-up, if you are providing any false information, then it is called as a professional misconduct. These are the 3 points which are given under part 3. All points do we have to remember, ma'am? Yes, you have to remember it. No choice. Part 1 we have 7 points. Part 2 we have 2 points. Part 3 we have 3 points. And what is part 4? Part 4 talks about other misconduct in relation to members of institute generally. A member of institute, whether in practice or not. This is not professional misconduct. This is other misconduct. Conviction by a court. If a member is convicted by any civil or criminal court for an offence that is punishable by imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months, which means less than 6 months, you have become an imprisoned by a civil or criminal court, then you will be called as a professional misconduct. Then it will be a professional misconduct. They will be deemed to be guilty of misconduct. This includes any offence regardless of its connection to their professional behavior. Even if you have done any chain snatching or robbery, something like that, and you have imprisoned for less than 6 months, even though if it is not based on your professional work, it is called as misconduct. Bringing disrepute to profession. If a council is of an opinion that a member, through their actions, bring disrepute to the profession or institute, through your actions, through your work, through your words, if you are saying anything which is not right, and if you are bringing disrepute to the profession, you are degrading the profession, then it is called as a misconduct. This applies whether or not the member's action are related to their professional work. Emphasizing that even non-professional behavior can impact the reputation of the profession. Even you are doing it in your personal life, that will affect your profession. To let that know, they have bought this provision. I hope it's clear. So this is regarding part 4. In part 4, we have 2 points. So we have part 1, which talks about members of institute professional misconduct who are in practice, and part 2 talks about professional misconduct in relation to members of institute in service, and part 3 talks about professional misconduct in relation to members of institute generally, and part 4 talks about other misconduct in relation to members of institute generally. These are the 4 parts in first schedule. I hope it's clear. Now, in second schedule, part 1, professional misconduct in relation to cost accountants in practice. If you are a cost accountant in practice, now what are the misconducts which are given in second schedule? First point, unauthorized disclosure. If a cost accountant discloses information acquired during a professional engagement to anyone other than client without the client's consent. Without your client's consent, if you are disclosing any kind of confidential information of your professional behavior, then it is called as unauthorized disclosure, which is a professional misconduct according to part 1, second schedule. I hope it's clear. Certification of reports. A cost accountant must not certify or submit report in their or their firm's name unless otherwise they have done the examination. If you have examined it, then give your signature. If you have not examined it, then don't sign on that particular report. If you have done, give the signature. If your partner has done, give the signature. If your employee has done the verification, give the signature. Other than that, if any other unrelated person of you have done the verification and if you are signing it, it is a professional misconduct. Related to statements has been done by them, their partner, their employee, or any other cost accountant in practice. If all these are done, then you can certify. If not, don't certify those reports. Use of name and estimates, as we have seen as the objective of professional ethics. When we are seeing professional ethics, we have seen the objective. What are the objectives? Credibility should be there. Yes or no? Credibility, which means trust in information. Now, if you have a verified data, then you will give your name. If you are not having a verified data or a relevant information, then don't give your name in estimates. What will happen if we give in our name as estimates? The people will assume that if this particular CMA professional member has given a certification of estimate, which means this estimate is very true, they'll blindly trust it. So don't give that blind trust to them. If you have a verified data, then do it, but do not give your name and estimates. A cost accountant is guilty of misconduct if they allow their name or their firm's name to be used in connection with the estimates of cost or earnings based on future transactions in a way that could lead to belief that they guarantee the accuracy of such forecast. So if you are giving the name, which means you are guaranteeing the forecast, which you should not do it. Conflict of interest in expressing an opinion. It is a misconduct if a cost accountant expresses an opinion on the cost or pricing statements of a business or enterprise in which they, their firm, or a partner has a substantial interest. If you have interest in that particular firm, or its subsidiary firm, or its associate firm, or its holding firm, you should disclose the interest. Without disclosing interest, if you are giving your opinion, then it is a professional misconduct. Failure to disclose material facts. If you have given the record statements, verified that, and if you have not disclosed about any material information willfully or unwillfully, then it is a professional misconduct. Failure to report misstatements. Due to any other reason, you have done a misstatement and you have forgot to disclose it, or you have neglected it to. But now, after doing the re-verification, now you have known that this misstatement is very important to be disclosed. Now, if you are not reporting about the failure of misstatement, then also it is a professional misconduct. If you have done any wrong, then it is a professional misconduct. After doing wrong, not committing that you have done wrong is also professional misconduct. A cost accountant must report on any material misstatement they know in cost and pricing statement. Failing to do so constitute misconduct. Lack of due diligence or grossly negligent. If you are being negligent in your work or not being due diligent, which means you are not doing your work in full capacity, you are not giving 100%, then you are doing professional misconduct. Insufficient information of opinion. If you have full information, then give an opinion. If you does not have a verified data, do not give the opinion. Failure to report departure from the accepted procedures. We have cost accounting standards, we have rules, we have regulations, we have prescribed policies, we have prescribed procedures. If cost records, cost statements, or any other related information of an entity is not giving the is not following rules and regulations or accepted procedures, then you have to report about it. Mishandling client's funds. If the client is handovering any kind of funds which is for their own purpose, not as a fee, for whatever work you have done, he is not giving you payment, but other than that, any funds, fees, remuneration, money if he is giving, then you can use it. Other than that, if he is giving his own funds to maintain that funds with you and you are mishandling it, you are misusing it, then it is a professional misconduct. So these are the 10 points which are covered under part 1 of second schedule. I hope it's clear. Then part 2, other misconduct in relation to members of institute generally. Contravening provisions of act or guidelines. Now whatever it is given in act and guidelines, you have to follow it. If you are not following it, it is a professional misconduct. Disclosure of confidential information as an employee. See here, unauthorized disclosure, which means you are giving a confidential information of a client, then it is a professional misconduct if you are acting as a cost accountant in practice. This is given in part 1. In part 2, if you are an employee of a company and if you are disclosing a confidential information, then it is a professional misconduct. It is given under part 2 of second schedule. Providing false information to whom? To the institute, to council, any committee, directorate of discipline, board of discipline, disciplinary committee, quality review board, appellate authority. If any of these recognized bodies coming to you and asking about information, you have to give the information correctly. If you are providing false information, it is a professional misconduct. Defalcation or embezzlement. If you are mishandling funds or misappropriation of funds, which means you are doing the theft of funds or you are misappropriating the funds, both the cases it is a professional misconduct, which is given under part 2 of second schedule. Now what is part 3? Other misconduct in relation to members of institute generally, which means if you are convicted for a fraud, even as a criminal offense or as a civil offense, and your imprisonment is more than 6 months, it is part 3 of second schedule. If it is less than 6 months, part 4, first point of first schedule. I hope it's clear. So these are the very, very important points which you have to remember for entire concept number 15. Now, how questions will be framed from this? I have given in my Q&A companion. So you can see, for example, I'm telling question number 8, December 2017 question. Mr. X, the cost auditor of a company, contributes articles in various papers or journals discussing matters of professional interest. In the course of such discussion, he mentions various data which include some vital but unpublished data relating to its client's company without its active approval, which means without client's approval, he is doing a disclosure and he is a Mr. X who is a cost auditor of a company. State whether there is a punishment if any of the cost auditor for such contravention. Is this a professional misconduct or not? Yes, it is a professional misconduct, and where it is given part 1 of second schedule, giving your client's information without client consent. Unauthorized disclosure, part 1 second schedule. I hope it's clear. So you have to write clearly that clause 1. If you're not writing clause also, that's okay. But you have to write part 1 of second schedule talks about the unauthorized disclosure. If a cost accountant in practice is disclosing any client information without client's active approval, then it is a professional misconduct. You have to write that. And then a member of institute, whether in practice or not, is liable for disciplinary action if he or she is found guilty of professional and other misconduct. Explain the term other misconduct. We have other misconduct in both part 4 of first schedule and in second schedule part 3 we have other misconduct. Now what is part 4 of first schedule is telling us? 2 points. Now first point is about imprisonment. If you have convicted for an offense, civil or criminal offense, and your imprisonment is for less than 6 months, it is covered under part 1 of part 4 of first schedule. Part 4 of first schedule, and this is first point. And what is second point? If you are bringing disrepute to the profession, then that is called as professional misconduct. This is other misconduct. Other misconduct. 1 is less than 6 months of imprisonment. 2 is bringing disrepute to the profession. And coming to part 3 of second schedule, if you are imprisoned for more than 6 months, then even it is a professional other misconduct. So you have to write these points of other misconduct. I hope it's clear. So this other misconduct is about that. So you have to write about part 4 and part 3. I hope it's clear. So this is how questions are being framed from concept number 15, which is very, very important. Now from each and every point, one question will be framed. So here also, Mr. Aruna CMA is working as a manager, cost accountant of PQR Limited. He accepts 10% of profits from his friend, Mr. Raju, a lawyer and a legal consultant of PQR Limited. Can you accept profits or any gratification? No. See here, part 2 of a first schedule, accepting commission or gratification from a lawyer, cost accountant, a broker engaged by company firm. It is a professional misconduct. See what is given. Arun, CMA, working in PQR Limited, and in this PQR Limited, who is also a lawyer, who is Mr. Raju. From Mr. Raju, Arun is accepting 10% of profits. Is it professional misconduct? Yes. Where it is given? In part 2 of first schedule. So you have to write that. Then Mr. S, SEMA in practice, certifies a cost and pricing statement of manufacturing of pipes for supplying relating to a contract. The statement is prepared by Mr. T, is not a CMA or employee of Mr. S. Now, without doing, he is giving his signature, which means he is certifying reports. So, certifying the reports which is not done examination either by him, his partner, employee, or any other cost accountant. Certification of reports given under part 1, second schedule. So, you have to remember those points and write it. Part 1, second schedule. He is giving a certificate of a report which is done by non-CMA, who is Mr. T. So you have to remember which point it is there, from which schedule it is there, from which part it is there. Even if you're not remembering which point, it's okay. You have to remember from which part, which schedule, and you have to write the provision, analysis, conclusion. I hope it's clear. So this is how you have to do the presentation. I hope everything is clear. So we have completed Unit 3, Cost Auditor also. Now, what are important points which you have to, important concepts which you have to cover from this particular unit? Concept number 15 is very, very important concept. You have to go through with concept number 15. And concept number 14, punishment of fraud, section 447. Go through once, it is more than enough. Okay. Next, concept number 13, professional ethics is important for examination. And concept number 11, strategic positions for cost accountant. This can also be tested in the examination. So give it a quick revision. Take it as B. This is not A category, but take it as B. Give a quick revision. Then duties of cost auditor to report fraud. I have told you rights and duties and report of fraud. All these three are important concepts. Then regarding the appointment, qualifications and disqualifications. Qualifications, disqualifications, and appointment of cost auditor. These are the important concepts from Unit 3, Cost Auditor, from Section A, Cost Audit. I hope it's clear. Is everything clear so far? We have completed with Unit 3 of Cost Auditor. Is everything clear? Give me a quick reply in the chat box. Megha Soni, good morning, ma'am. Will you provide workbook solving session 2? What does it mean by workbook solving session, ma? Are you asking about practical questions? If you're asking about practicals, yes, there will be a session for practicals also. Balaji, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Balaji. What about others? Is everything clear so far? Priya, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Priya. So, yes, we have done with Unit 3, Cost Auditor. Now, moving on to Unit 4. Now, here in Super 50 sheet, Unit 4 questions are not given. Now, why Unit 4 questions are not given? Are they not important? Yes, they are important. But have to give questions in Super 50 for cost accounting standards. Now, I have received a query from a student asking that, ma'am, can I skip the entire cost accounting standards practicals? No, you can't do that. Cost accounting standard practicals as well as theory are very, very important. Cost accounting standard is a major important unit in your examination. Then why you have not included in Super 50 questions, ma'am? I am not included because there are n number of questions in that. And I can tell you what concepts are important for you to remember in practical perspective and theory perspective, and how you have to study that. I'll give you the study tips, but you have to read the entire unit of cost accounting standards in theory as well as practicals. theory as well as practicals. Now, if we see the concept book for cost accounting standards and GASA, please go through the entire part 1 of marathon, which is already uploaded in the YouTube channel for cost accounting standards. I have given you the enough clarity of concepts. The question can be asked as a theoretical question even from cost accounting standards also, because that are important. So you have to be more cautious with unit 4 for practicals as well as theory topics. I hope it's clear. Now, I'm giving you the clarity of what theory topics you have to depend on and what practicals you have to depend on from cost accounting standards. Now, CAS 1, so far no question has been tested, so you can just give a quick revision. But for theory perspective, what all you have to remember? CAS 2, capacity determination. What question can be asked regarding capacity? Regarding how many kinds of capacity is there and what kind of capacity is there, a question can be tested in your examination. Now, in my workbook, I have given each segment of theory and practical questions from each cost accounting standard. So I've segmented it and given to you so you can easily rely upon. See, from CAS to how question can be asked, how capacity is determined according to cost accounting standard. Now, what are different capacities we have? Regarding that, you have to write it. Install capacity, normal capacity, actual capacity, achievable capacity. Now we have practical questions. If you have an idea about practical questions, you will be easily able to write this down in your own words. Can you do that? Yes, you can write it in your own words, but remember the keywords. That's it. So this question can be asked from the CAS 2. Now, CAS 2 is important for theory question, capacity. I hope it's clear. Now, CAS 3, production and operation overheads. From CAS 3, no question is being tested so far, so leave that. CAS 4, cost of production, acquisition, supply of goods or provision of services. Yes, from CAS 4, a theory question is being tested. Now, how theory question will be tested? In CAS 4, we have CGST rules. So, from that CGST rules, we have question. The question has been asked from rules. So we have rules of CGST. Now where the supply of goods or services is consideration not wholly in money. This is rule 28. Rule 28 they have tested, where goods are intended for further supply as such by the recipient. Rule 29. Rule 27, Rule 28, Rule 29, Rule 30 and Rule 31. We have 5 rules as per CGST rules in CAS 4. Now what is Rule 27? Supply of goods or services for consideration not wholly in money. And Rule 28 is about if goods are entered into transaction which are intended for further supply by a related party. And Rule 29 is about the transaction between principal and agent. Rule 30, if nothing, Rule 27, 28, 29 is not applicable, then you will take transaction value to be 110% of cost of production. That is Rule 30. If anything is not satisfied, then you will use your own methodology for calculating the transaction value, which is given in Rule 31. So these are the rules which we have. So that rules are important from CGST rules. So that is the question which is from CAS 4. So you have to remember CAS 4 theory, which talks about CGST rules. Here it is about capacity. You have to remember that. I hope it's clear. Madam, I have doubt. Please tell me. I have secured 72 marks in paper 17 but failed group 2 because of aggregate. Should I attend exam by considering 50 marks or should I attend exam again? What's your suggestion? Balasubramaniam, that's your own choice, Balasubramaniam. If you have confidence that by attending this particular attempt, you will be able to score more than 72 marks for this particular attempt, then you can go for and write it down. If you are aiming for 90 marks in cost audit, then yes, absolutely go and write your exam because it will help you in the aggregate. But if you think that I have to learn the subject again, go for the subject again, and if you have not given your enough preparation for the other 3 subjects of group 4, then don't give it. Focus on other 3 subjects and go for it. If you have done all the 3 subjects, but you have a lot of confusion and you have a self-doubt that I'll not be able to score much marks in other subjects, then you can give the cost and management audit. I can secure exemption again if I listen your marathon again. Thank you so much for the confidence which you have in the marathons. Yes, I am telling you again, in cost and management audit, you will be able to score exemption. That's no doubt in it. But if you have enough preparation in the other subjects, then give an attempt for cost and management audit. If you haven't had the enough preparation for the rest of three subjects, then I suggest leave cost and management audit and go for other three subjects, better preparation, because you have enough time of 10 days. So that's my suggestion. And what's your opinion? You can take it that. CS5, average cost of transportation. How questions will be framed from average cost of transportation regarding inward transportation cost and outward transportation cost, question will be framed. Now, what is regarding the transportation cost? What if transportation have own transportation fleet or higher transportation fleet? Regarding that, the question will be framed. So, these are the theoretical questions which have been tested from CAS 5. So, from CAS 5 also theory question can be tested. From CAS 6, material cost, most probably practical question will only be tested. So, only practical question is there from CAS 6. So, you need not see CAS 6 for theory. CAS 7 employee cost is also most probably practical. CAS 8 cost of utilities is also practical. And if you're going for CAS 7, you can see this particular point. Regarding separation cost point, a question will be asked. Now, what if voluntary retirement, retrenchment, separation cost is there? Nothing but that should be amortized over the period of benefit. So, you have to write that. If you have enough clarity about concepts, you can easily attempt the theory questions for cost accounting standards. And for that conceptual clarity, what you will do? You can go and see the marathon class, which is their part 1 marathon. I have given you the much more clarity for cost accounting standards. By seeing the theory concepts of cost accounting standards, you will be able to answer any theoretical question which has been tested in the examination. So yes, you will write about what are the items of expenses regarding the CAS 7 employee cost is asked in the examination. So what all employee cost will be there? Salaries, wages, allowances, gratuity, leave, future benefits, everything is included in the employee cost. Now, if you are acting as an employee, what all you receive as a benefit, everything is employee cost. What all included, you will write all the points. Now, CAS 7 theory is there. Now, coming to CAS 8. CAS 8, not muchly. You just have to remember one point which is also benefited to the practical itself. When you're going to practical, you will understand that. Now, CAS 9, theory, a short question in theory. What is primary packing material cost and secondary packing material cost? That is only one point which is important for theory. You can remember that. Packing material cost, primary packing, secondary packing, and reusable packing material cost. We have 3 types of packing material. So, you have to remember that point. That is important for CAS 9. And CAS 10, direct expenses. Regarding direct expenses also, no theory question is there. So, you need not remember that. Next, CAS 11, no question is there. CAS 12, repairs and maintenance cost. In repairs and maintenance cost, we have a point called as high value spare parts. So, what if high value spare part is there? How it should be valued? If it is recognized into property, plant and equipment definition, then consider it as in asset and depreciate it accordingly. If it is not coming under property, plant and equipment definition, treat it as inventory and consider it in cost when you are utilizing that high value spare part. So, this is the concept for that particular high value spare part. So, you have to remember that particular point when you are coming for repairs and maintenance cost. I hope it's clear. So, for repairs and maintenance cost, high value spare parts point is important. Only that point is important. I hope it's clear. Now, other than that, CAS 13, cost of service cost center. Regarding cost center, if you have an enough idea, that's more than enough. Not much to be related about. And CAS 16, depreciation and amortization, theory question will be tested in the examination. May be tested. So, What depreciation and amortization? What are the principles of measurement to be followed for depreciation and amortization? So we have entire fifth point, which talks about principle of measurement. I have, I guess many of you already know how cost accounting standards will be there. First, introduction will be there, objective, scope, definitions, principles of measurement, assignment of cost, and then about presentation, disclosure, and effective date. These are the 9 points how each and every cost accounting standard will be segregated. So from fifth point, principles of measurement, how depreciation and amortization should be measured. For that, an entire question has been tested in June 2023 attempt. So depreciation and amortization, you have to remember theory. And then regarding interest and financing charges, that's not much to be worried about. So yes, that's it. So these are the topics which are important for theory perspective, which you have to remember. What are those? CAS 2, CAS 4, CAS 5, CAS 7, CAS 9, CAS 12, and CAS 16. These are cost accounting standards which are being tested in the examination for theory perspective. So for theory, you have to remember these major importantly. I'm not telling to leave the other cost accounting standards. These are A category cost accounting standards. Other cost accounting standards, just give a quick revision. Just listen to the marathon, it's more than enough. But even this A category topics, after revision, after seeing the marathon, you have to give a revision. I hope it's clear. So this is regarding the cost accounting standards. Now, why I have not included in Super 50? Not because it is not important, but I can't tell that this is only the question, this is only the question, because it is a provision, it is a standard. I can't tell it like that. So you have to see the standard. I can't put the entire standard here. So I haven't put it. I hope you understand that you have to majorly depend upon cost accounting standards. Please don't blame me that I have not included in the Super 50. I have given you the enough clarity about it. So yes, Unit 4, Cost Accounting Standards and GASAP, I have given you the enough clarity. Ma'am, kindly suggest practical questions we have to focus. CMA Sundar, for practical questions, and another session will be there for you. Most probably a recorded session will be uploaded right after completion of Super 50 questions. So you can blindly depend upon the practical questions. I'll give you the all practical questions which are important. Okay, from the entire syllabus, I'll give you the practical questions, so you can focus on that. I hope it's clear, Sundar. Now, the last unit for this particular session is cost auditing and assurance standards. Now, if we come to cost auditing and assurance standards, how the questions are being framed and what topics we have cost auditing and assurance standards, and these are the standards which have to be complied by the cost auditor. So these are the guidelines which are given to the cost auditor when he is doing his work. So this is cost auditing and assurance standards. In this we have 4 standards: CAS 101, CAS 102, CAS 103, and CAS 104. Now what is 101 tells about planning and audit of cost statements. 102 tells about cost audit documentation. 103 tells about overall objectives of independent cost auditor and conduct of an audit in accordance with the cost auditing standards. And 104, knowledge of business, its process, and the business environment. These are the 4 cost auditing standards which we have. Now, how these questions will be tested in the examination from these 4 standards of cost auditing? Direct question will not be asked. Sometimes indirect question will also be asked. Indirect question means they'll ask something about it. Then you have to understand that this is a question from cost auditing standard. For example, we'll see the workbook, so you'll understand. Unit 5, Cost Auditing and Assurance Standard. See, question number 1. Well, commencing cost audit of a manufacturing company, how auditor would assess about the risk of material misstatement? So, about the risk of material misstatement, how the analysis should be done by the cost auditor. So, if you see the handwritten notes, I have given you about the risk of material assessment. Just a moment. See, audit risk and materiality. So how the auditor has to focus on the risk of material misstatements, risk of material misstatement, components of audit risk. So this has been tested from which standard? 103. And similarly, we have a risk in 101 also, 102 also, 104 also. So this is a combination of 101, 102, 103 and 104, and they have asked about risk of material misstatement. How many kinds of risk we have? We have detention risk, assertion level risk, inherent risk and control risk. This is also there in 101. So this, see, audit risk, inherent risk, control risk, detection risk, also there in 101. And in 103 also the same risk of material misstatement is there. So common question like this will be framed in the examination. So you have to write it about the 101 and 103 combination, that this is regarding the risk of material misstatements. Now regarding the enough clarity of this concepts, you can entirely depend on the marathon session. First part to marathon, you can entirely depend upon that. And see here, the audit engagement team should hold discussion to gain a better understanding of the organization. Now, if we see here, 103 talks about what? Overall objectives of independent cost auditor and conduct of an audit in accordance with the cost auditing standards. So he should have an enough understanding about the cost auditor understanding and about the objective. And CS4, knowledge of business, its process and the business environment. He should have an understanding about the environment or the organization. Now here, what they are telling, the audit engagement team, which means the auditor, should hold a discussion to gain a better understanding about the organization. So here we can tell that this is from CAS 104. Knowledge of business. Knowledge of business should be there. Now, planning should be done. Can you do planning without organization understanding? No. For planning, we need to have understanding about the organization. To determine documentation, each and every documentation of cost audit will depend or differ with the size and complexity of the entity, with the nature of the business, with how the business relationships are being run. So based on different parameters, the documentation will also differ. So for that also understanding is required. So commonly the question will be asked in the examination. So you have to write from CAS 101 to 104, all are applicable, and in documentation, before planning, when you are understanding about standards and you are understanding about organization, you need to have a discussion and have a better understanding of the organization. So I hope it's clear. And 103 talks about audit and ethics. So what kind of audit and ethics are there? We have seen the professional ethics, the same point you'll write: independence, integrity, objectivity, competence and due care, confidentiality, professional conduct. Whenever you come across in a question a word called as professional ethics, write those points: integrity, competence, confidentiality, professional behavior and due diligence. You'll write those points. Objectivity. Here a direct question has been tested in June 2023 about CAS 103 about audit risk. Now only we have seen about audit risk, detection risk, control risk, inherent risk. You'll write that assertion level risk. You'll write that risk points. Now what is audit risk? You'll write what is audit risk. Concept question number 5. Professional judgment and professional skepticism. This is from Cost Accounting Standard 103. Cost Auditing Standard 103. Regarding professional judgment, you will write what is professional judgment. You need to have a proper understanding. You need to have a proper training. You need to have experience within the framework, your work. And what is professional skepticism? Always having a doubtful mindset. You will not write this simply. You have to learn and you have to write those points. Okay, clearly points are given in the workbook. Now, many students will have a lot of doubt. Ma'am, do we have to depend upon workbook answers, or do we have to depend upon concept book? Do we have to depend upon handwritten notes? You can depend upon anything which you like. Anything which you like. If you think that workbook answer is more than enough, I am being able to understand it. Workbook answer is easy for me. Follow workbook answer. In concept book, if you see the concept which is given, I think the concept book lines are very easy for me to remembering, depend upon concept book. If you think that handwritten notes is being framed in an easy format, depend upon handwritten notes. Okay, clear. And If in workbook definition is not there, the definition should be written and every answer should be written in a point-wise format. Even by mistakenly or through place congestion, if I have given in a theory format, don't write theory format in your answer. Okay, in your examination, you have to write in a point-wise format only. So here 104 question is given. So regarding 104 you'll write, and again risk assessment question is there. So regarding risk assessment again you'll write. Internal audit, misstatements and audit documentation. Audit documentation is from 102. Sorry. Audit documentation is 102. So I'll write about audit documentation. So this is how you will write it. For entire CAS, which is unit 4 and entire unit 5, you will depend upon part 1 marathon for enough conceptual clarity. And in this session, I have given you how you have to prepare it and how questions will be framed in the examination from unit 4 and unit 5. I hope it is clear. We have completed Unit 1 Basics of Cost Audit, Unit 2 Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014, Unit 3 Cost Auditor, Unit 4 Cost Accounting Standards and GESA, and Unit 5 Cost Auditing and Assurance Standards. I have told you how questions will be tested, how you have to present in the examination, and what kind of questions will be asked. What concepts are important also we have discussed. I hope everything is clear. Do you have any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat box. I'll be there for 2 minutes, and after that, we will end the session. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying on live. If you have any questions, any queries, if you want to know about any concept again, you can tell me. I'll repeat it again. If you want to know about any question, then you can ask me, or else we will end the session. We'll again meet at 2 to 5 and we will complete the day 2 target. Day 1 target is completed. Do you have any doubts? If no doubts are there, if everything is clear, then give a thumbs up in the chat box or give an emoji in the chat box. How is the live? I hope every one of you liked the live. If you have liked, if you have got the clarity about the questions, if you have understood everything, then hit the like button and give a comment in the chat box. Is everything clear? Did you like the class? Cmad Sundar, thanks a lot. You're welcome, Sundar. Balaji, thank you for the clarity. Thank you so much. You're welcome. What about others? Is everything clear? Why no reply in the chat box? Only I get the reactions. Okay, I'm not going to waste the time. Thank you for joining. I hope everything is clear. If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can ask me at any point of time, either in the comments section or through our Telegram channel. If any one of you haven't joined the Telegram channel link is given in the below description box. So do join the Telegram channel where we will be discussing many questions, many doubts. If you have any kind of question at any point of time, you can ask me and I'll give you the enough clarity. See, Miss Sundar, very, very good. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you very much. Is there any chapter which we can skip? Nothing. Balaji. Yes, there are chapters which you can skip. I've given you in first class A category, B category and C category topics. So if you want to skip and if you don't have enough time to revise or prepare for it, then you can skip C category topics. Focus on A category and B category concepts. I hope it's clear. Manu, clear, ma'am. CMA Sundar, marathon video is not available. So, Sundar, I guess you haven't checked it out. Join the Telegram channel. I'll again share the link for part 2 marathon. Marathon part 1 and part 2 is available. Marathon part 1 and part 2 is already available in the YouTube channel. So yes, that's it for today's session. We'll again meet you guys from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and we will go for day 2 target. I hope everything is clear. Thank you so much. Bye. We'll meet you guys in the next session.